Hello and welcome to Sister Talk No Filter. I'm SB Owens.
And I am Talia Aisha.
And welcome to our first discussion of Sister Talk No Filter. This is number 1, so it's going to be fun. So filter is Sister Talk without a filter. So we talk about everything. But in this first discussion, we are going to kick it off talking about friendship. And we're going to break that down in all the ways of friendship. So we're going to talk about the different phases of friendship. We're going to talk about what your friends deserve to know. We're going to talk about significant others as it relates to
yes, and that's a big one there.
So we're just going to talk about it all. So we invited our friends to talk about friendship. So this is going to be a good one. I'm excited, Talia.
It is, and I'm so happy that our friends decided to come on and just share their experiences as well. It's going to be good.
You didn't have to do it, but you did. But they don't know what
that's what friends are for.
A little bugger, a little, serenade in there. Let's get started. Let's go. All right. So welcome to Sister Talk No Filter. And just as the name says, it's Sister Talk and no filter. So our first discussion. Oh, wait, you don't know who I am. I'm SB Owens. Who are you?
Yeah, let's just go around and introduce ourselves. My name is Talia Aisha, the other half of Sister Talk No Filter. Let's see.
Wait, let's dig a little deeper with this introduction because we have some guests with us for the first time. So as our guests are introducing ourselves, because our theme for tonight is friendship, let us introduce yourself and how we know each other, because we invited our friends. So your name, how you know either one of us, and one word you would use to describe friendship. No right or wrong answer.
Yeah.
Friendship in general.
So let's see. Elle, you want to start first?
I felt it. Like the whole time you were talking, I was like, yeah, she's coming for me. I am Elle Harris. I'm Dr. Elle Harris.
Hey.
And I am friends with Shanae. I met Shanae, I don't remember how long ago. And we actually met through a friend. And I think I probably talked to Shanae even more than I talked to the friend that we met through, which is so crazy. Whenever we go places, I keep her in line about her face.
Good.
Because it's,
somebody needs to.
And she always slides in me, and she helped me get through this doctorate process, which she will soon be through soon.
Yes.
And,
yes, Lord.
Yeah. What would I do? How would I describe friendship? So I feel like I was selected by Shanae to be up here because I am a friend whore. So, which means I have several friends. A lot of my friends hate that. I have a lot of possessive friends, and they're like, who is this person? Who is this new girl? Like, all of that. So, yeah. So for me, the best way to describe friendship for me, that whole friendship is love set on fire thing, or the reverse. I feel like that's what it is, but in a way where friendship refines love. For me, I think that friendship is everything because we all need a friend, right? That's how love truly starts. And so it's just like being able to find someone to hold you accountable. So I'm going to deep accountability and friendship, love set on fire. That's what I got.
Okay. Love it. Essence.
Hi everyone. My name is Essence Cohen Fields. I'm a licensed professional counselor, and I've been knowing Talia and Shanae.
Too long.
Yeah, too long. Since the 90s. That's what I'll say.
Yes.
Since the 90s. So, I knew we grew up in the church together. All these things, So. We like that. So, a word I could use for friendship, not just a word, but it just came to my mind is secret weapon. You know, I feel like I had an experience, 2020. How about we all had experience, right? But this particular last 12 months have been, hard in different ways. And I didn't realize that, how much of a resource that friends were and how much of a secret weapon it was to transition from different mindsets. And so, yeah, that's what I would say. No, cut it short.
Sasha.
Hi, everyone. So I actually know Talia through a previous job many moons ago. Been quite a while. That it was actually my first job in college, I think. And when I think about friendship, I think about things that keep me grounded. Friendship is something that, when I'm in the midst of anything, whether it be anxiety, things that bring me joy, or maybe I'm like feeling myself and I need to be checked. Friendship helps keep me grounded. That's something I really appreciate about people in my sisterhood circle.
Nice. And Dr. Tiandra.
Okay, we can cut that, okay? Y'all know I'm Tiandra. I didn't know what to put. I don't know, but I'm just Tiandra, okay. Okay, so I'm Tiandra, and Shanae is my friend, best friend. However, through Shanae, I also know Talia. Didn't know Talia while I was at Hampton, but that's how Shanae and I met. At Hampton, we were both English majors, and then grad school and, real life. When I think about the word friendship, especially during this ponderosa that we're currently in, friendship is transformative. I've really noticed that my friendships, they really have the power to change me in various ways, maybe big or small. And they allow me to see things from a different lens and another perspective. But also, when I think about those friendships, the ones that I hold like near and dear to my heart, those are the ones that really shape me in becoming a better me and hold me accountable.
Yeah.
That's all.
All right. SB Owens, are you going to say a word?
I felt like you all were talking about me, so welcome. You're welcome. Friendship is everything to me. My friends are my family. I'm probably not supposed to say this, but some of my friends I am closer to than my actual family. So friendship is important to me. And if I call you that, because I'm not very, I don't just pass that word around. I see your face, I'm not gonna look at you. So I don't pass that word around loosely. So if I say it, I mean it. And if I no longer mean it, you'll know it.
All right. I guess I'll say my word. Everything, similar to what SB Owens said. I'm the only child. So friends mean so much to me. And I hold dear to that. I appreciate my friends because my family is small. So it's like, I need my sister friends and just my circle to help me with everything. And so I take it very seriously and I try my best to be a good friend and be there. And thankfully, I've been blessed to have those type of people around me as well. Mm-hmm. Yes, look at Shanae. She's so full of herself. And friends keep it real. We didn't say that word. Me and Shanae, we always say KIR, keep it real. We have to keep it real no matter what.
And when we say that means a gut punch is coming. It's not going to be nice right after we say
it's like, it's the shade that's coming next, but it's all out of love.
Right.
Okay, so the first topic we're going to talk about is friends versus someone you know. How do you define your friendships versus someone that's just an acquaintance? So who wants to take that on first?
So I'll go first because the first word that popped into my head was trust. Trust is huge for me, as it is for everyone else, right? We can establish strong, meaningful relationships if we don't trust the person. So that's what really distinguishes my friendships from all the other relationships that I have.
I like that. The trust. Anyone else?
Well, yeah, I'd say along with that, I'm just thinking what distinguishes. I'm kind of slow to establish friendships, so I would definitely say observation. So it's like, hey, at this point, I don't know how I meet anybody new, quarantine and everything, but if I did, it's like, I want to see you in different settings. Like, I think we vibe and we cool, and like, how are you here after hours? How are you on the weekend? So really just observing people in different settings. I'm like, you know what? Yeah, that's my friend.
I can agree with that. You have to know, especially as we're maturing, it's important to know who's in our circle. So that observation, seeing what they're about is really vital. Now with the whole no new friends, that used to be me, Essence, but I moved away. So now like my circle is different. So
yeah,
I can't, sing the No New Friends song anymore because now I'm lonely. So I have to get out here and, try to, be friends with coworkers and stuff and see what happens.
Right. Okay. How has it been as far as like getting to?
I'm alone. I'm all alone. My poor husband. He's my only friend.
How's that working for you?
How's that working for you? No, I have developed some new friendships down here. When I first moved down here, I was by myself. And then he was my fiance. He wasn't here. So I took a part-time job just to get out the house. And I actually met some young ladies that I still do keep in contact with. And they have been very beneficial with showing me around my new city and everything like that. So it's been good. But it's definitely different making new friends once you're grown. It's different.
So that actually brings me to like the next segment in terms of the different stages of life in making friends. So we have our childhood friends, then we may have our college friends, then we have our adult friends, like the 25 up friends. Like, how do you make friendships during those times in your life? Like childhood, like Essence, for example, like we went to the same church. We were in the same like clubs and organizations and like rec league type things. So you make friends naturally that way. Then in college, you think about, I forced friendship on Tiandra. We saved best friend like that.
I did.
I said one day in the front of the class, and I said, Tiandra Lewis at the time, Tiandra Lewis are best friends. Like, what? We are best friends. And from that day forward, we spent like every day since in our college careers together. Like we would edit papers together. We would stay up just writing together like every day since. And I was like, told you every each other at graduation. So we were just like, hey, best friend, like every time we see each other thing. And like that's how the college thing came. And then as you think about post-college, it's like, how do you make friends post-college? And like Elle and I, we stumbled upon each other in terms of at a mutual event and things like that. It's like, how do you make those friendships, and are they for real? Are they intentional? Do you want them to last, or are they just like, hey, this is networking. Hey girl, see you never.
I think it all depends, you know, like thinking about those childhood friendships. I remember about to go to Hampton, and one of my mom's friends said, "Oh, she's going to Hampton. She'll love it. She's going to have lifelong friends." And I remember saying, "No, I already have my friends. Like, I don't, I don't need any more. Like, I have my friends." And that woman could not have been the truest statement ever, because I did meet my lifelong friends. I mean, I still have those high school, you know, elementary friendships, but I have lifelong friends that I established at Hampton. And then leaving, you know, going into a career, I kind of was just like, well, again, I don't need to make any friends. Like, I have friends, but you do need somebody in your corner. It is nice to have that somebody. And so I have my work friends, and I have my friends that are here in this city because this is not my hometown. And so, but there's different layers. There's nothing like my friends compared to the other categories.
I would say for me, so childhood, I probably don't have anyone that I talk to from childhood today. And what's interesting about that is even like high school, one of my friends and I, we went to Virginia State together. And once I graduated, and I think moved back to this area and I started doing different things, she actually told me that she didn't want to be my friend anymore because the things that I was doing was making her uncomfortable. So my elevation in life made her feel like she wasn't doing anything with her life. And the thing is, for me, I've never been a person to say, hey, I'm doing this, you know, but for her, that's what she felt. So for me, outside of her, probably in college, I may have one or two friends, but that has been like a reoccurring thing for me. So it's either that I find people who want me to stay in the place that I was then, or people who are not accepting of who I am now. So for me, friendship has been more of a maturation. So now that's why a lot of people who see me, they say, oh, you always have new friends, because I'm very aware of what happens when people evolve in and out of my life, because they see, oh, wait, no, doing too much. Let me move on, you know. So for me, I have a core group of people who I say are my safe friends, but I also have those layers. I am an onion. So this is the layer. This is my close friends. It's like 3 of them. And then everybody else goes, you know, outside of that. So I think for me, it's just been a revolving. I probably have one friend I was in the military with, and we've been friends for like 15 years. That's probably my longest friendship.
To Elle's point, I think that you can have different groups of friends, and then you can outgrow your friendships. And then to the question of, you know, how do you create those new friends? Like, it comes with, I think, different transitions in your life. So I recently became a new mom, and I found myself cultivating mom friendships inadvertently, because I just started caring about parenting topics. And so, like, Talia and I have talked more now because she recently became a new mom as well, more than we have in years. And I remember one time specifically, we just kept going like on and on, and we're like, man, it seems like the conversation is endless, because, you know, the topics of regarding parenting are just like endless as well, right? Yeah. So I think it really varies on where you are in life. Like Elle said, you know, if you level up, some friends can't handle that, right? So you can outgrow them, and then you're able to have these different groups, right? Because I have certain friends that don't want to hear about like postpartum life or my new baby gadget. They don't care, and that's okay with me. I like having these different groups that I can, you know, kind of go in and out of.
Like it.
Can I respond to that also about the childhood friends? So, yeah, I feel like that's a a common experience as far as outgrowing friendships that you may have had early in life. So I'm a therapist, and in my practice, I have seen so many women who have like heartbreak from friendships that they were like this with, they no longer speak. A lot of them don't know why. Ironically, I have had that experience. And so it was refreshing to kind of realize that it's a normal occurrence. And it's like, what's, I wonder why it happens, but, so frequently to have had a really close friend and all of a sudden you guys just stop speaking. But it's, I guess, to Elle's point, it was cold how it happened, but at least you got an explanation. She just said, I can't handle it. It's too much of a reflection of what I'm not, where I'm not right now. And then so as far as like outgrowing each other at different paces, you're just maturing at different paces and at a different pace, I should say. And so it's interesting to see how common it really is, and it can be even more difficult to heal from than a regular, relationship, romantic relationship. But then also I was thinking as far as like having close friends after 25, and I'm like, I don't have anybody in my mind. I do have one in particular, but I realized in hearing you ladies talk that I really covet my friendships, and I'm calling everyone, like, I call them my sister friends at this point. And I'm very expressive. I'm like, I love you. And I'm like, I don't have any friends, because in my mind, they're already like super close, because there's only about like 6, but yeah, so if I do have friendships at this stage in my life, I have one, like I said, after 25, but I usually kind of reach out to people. So for instance, like an alumni chapter of like my undergraduate school, I might reconnect with people from there, or if someone from my hometown is in the area, I'll reconnect, and we'll develop a friendship. We may have been as close at earlier stages in my life, but I think I'm most comfortable with getting a deeper connection with people who I already knew. And I just realized that in this conversation. So.
And you actually made me think about like conversations that Flea and I have had, just in the fact that you have to cultivate these relationships. Like if you want friendships, you have to work on it just like any other relationship that you have. Like if you want to keep those childhood relationships, if you want to keep those college friendships, if you want to make new friends and keep those friendships in the 25 plus, you have to work on it. And if you don't work on it. Like it's kind of just that simple, although it's work, but you have to be intentional about it.
True. Well, that segues into the next part, nurturing friendships. How do we go about being intentional with these friendships we create? Myself, I try to always reach out to people, just to say hello. Social media definitely has made it easier to do that, because if you're active on there, people are posting what they're doing. I have no problem like, hey, I saw you did this, congratulations, or anything like that. So, I mean, I guess that's kind of cheating, but social media helps me like remember a birthday. I sometimes then put it in my calendar. I mean, because I love a birthday shout out. Like it means the world to me to get a text. So I will put like my calendar is filled with important people's birthday just because it's special to me. So I'll try to do that. And like I said earlier, I moved away. So, I didn't want the out of sight, out of mind thing to happen. And so I definitely try to keep in contact, keep people abreast of what I'm doing. And my sister circles, they do the same. So I may not show up to your event because I don't live there, but I better get an invitation. That's how I am. I want to feel included. Yes, I'm going to RSVP and say no, but I want to know what's happening. Like, I'm still here.
That, Talia. I too would like an invitation.
Yes.
And you don't know. I may just pop up. You don't know. You know the frequent flyer miles are real. Okay. You don't know.
Thank you.
So I still want an invitation. But yeah, social media, it kind of can be a little cheat sheet,
My life is so difficult with these two.
But I will say, I am one, like birthdays now, that's something that I commit to memory. They're very important for me and to me. But as far as, nurturing, I know everybody's address. So if you cross my mind and I either send a text, but sometimes I'll just mail stuff to you. Thinking about you, saw this magazine, and I know that you like this person, and, things like that I try to do.
That's cute.
Yeah, I try.
Yeah.
Wow.
What about creating new memories?
I'm listening to all of you and just thinking I need to level up my like, wait, when's the last time I mailed something to somebody? It's been a while. So I'm getting some tips from you ladies. So thank you so much. One thing I do try to do. So first of all, social media is amazing at keeping you connected with folks. I don't even feel like it's cheating because I invest so much time in talking and engaging with your content about your life. It's work, like, but I think, that's just one of our tools, right? With staying connected with folk. It's a tool. So it may be a random FaceTime call. I love FaceTime. It may be a text. I'm just thinking about you. One thing I do with my friends very frequently is send like funny videos or memes. I think laughter is one of the best ways to remind yourself about how you're connected with that person. I find a lot of times the people that I'm closest to, they share a similar sense of humor. So humor is one of those ways that, I keep connected to my people.
I am not good at any of this. This is a vulnerable, safe place, right? I'm not. So I mean, I feel like, my best friend, right? My best friend in life, I probably see her once every 3 months. She literally lives about 70 feet away from my house. So listen, but she's my best friend in the world. I know everything about her. I know if I go to the store, I can feel her in there, and I'll call and say, "Are you at the store?" And she's like, "Yeah, I'm in here." Like, that's how close we are. However, I'm introverted, one. So I'm going to call you every day. I'm just not, but when I am in your space and we are spending time together, it's going to be hilarious. It's going to be great. We're going to have a really good time. Outside of that, I probably won't call you or text you for weeks at a time. And that's just who I am. But I love everybody when I see them, when we're together. And I think, again, with having several different groups of friends, they'll see you out, like they'll see me out with Shanae and my other friends, and they're like, "Oh, you're hanging out with your bougie crew." Like, that's what they call us. You're hanging out. And it's like, I haven't seen them the same amount of time that I haven't seen you. It just looks like it because it's a picture. So being a friend whore is a lot of work. So sometimes you can't post as much because, the other ones get jealous. But so I am not the best, but what I am, when they need me, I'm there. I'm 100% always going to be there. When you're in my face, the time is with you and you only, like, I'm that friend. So, but other than that, I'm not that good. I think I had mailed Shanae's birthday card like 2 months later. Pray for me, y'all.
But you still showed up for my birthday and told me you was gonna mail the card eventually.
I did.
And I just want to jump in here. So I am not that great either at like keeping up, but as far as like sending like a random like, "Hey, checking in," I'm not very good at that. And I'll have a conversation, like a text conversation, and like, "I haven't responded back in 6 weeks. I didn't know that." But there is like really meaningful intention, like when I do dedicate that time to engage, like it's like I really do want to know what's going on, how you've been. And just last year I did mail a book I was reading to a few of my friends, and it was really random, and wasn't trying to create a book club or anything, but I was just like, it was just, I was like, I enjoy this and I appreciate you in my life, and I just wanted to share it with you. Just, sent it on Amazon. So that, and then I'll get random like handwritten cards from a few of my friends, because most of my friends, I'm in Pennsylvania, most of my friends, and then I'm from New Jersey. Everyone pretty much moved away from New Jersey. And so everyone's so scattered. And some of my closest friends, I see, like one of my closest friends, I see her like once every 5 years. And we're like this, but she lives in Kentucky. So, you know, if it's not at homecoming, you know, the next
It's
event.
true. That happens, especially as we continue to go through different stages of our lives. Like time just goes and you just don't realize it, how fast it goes, and years literally can go by. But what I like about when you have your core friends and you guys are rooted with each other, you can just pick back up and it was like you see each other every day to pick back up. Okay, so we want to talk about different circles.
Let's talk about different circles. So we have some, I'll use the word buckets. So sometimes we have different buckets of friends. And do you ever try to mix your friends and bring your friends together? I'm doing a slow sigh and a heavy breathing.
I hear it.
I can speak on that.
It didn't work for me. Go ahead.
And also, I want to just say, I do want to know real quick, what made you know that Tiandra was going to be your best friend? Like, what did she give off that you know? You had to shout it from a mountaintop.
Yes, please. This has been years. I would like to know.
I honestly said it to be annoying. Like, I think.
Sound about right.
I was being real aggy about it. And we were delirious. Like, we were English majors. It was just like, she wanted nothing to do with me. You know how, and I'm gonna hype it up a little more than what it is. But you know, like the super popular kid in school.
Okay, you're gonna stop. I'm gonna close this laptop.
And like, it was just like, see, I'm trying to be best friends, did you know? And like, I was like super extra about it too, like telling everybody who would listen. And then I stood in the front of the room and was like, they're best friends. And she was like, I mean, I know her, but.
Again, okay, so first of all, I don't know about this whole super popular whatever. But no, okay, we're both from Jersey, so there was that, okay? We both were English majors, yes. Delirious, I don't know if I really like that what your claim to want to be my friend came out of delusion and being delirious, okay?
No, the being extra in terms like, we're
okay.
best friends, like that part. No, that part. I was like, did you know we're best friends?
But like, Shanae was just Shanae. And it was like, yo, I'm tired. And this girl is doing the most with the least. And then she did that. I was like, oh, she crazy. And then eventually it was like, but this is my kind of crazy. Like, but in that moment, it was like, girl, sit down. Like, what are you doing?
We literally hung out every single day.
Yes.
That moment.
Yeah. So I'm very happy for that. I'm very grateful for that. But at the time, I was like, what is she doing? Yeah.
We were friends and then we became friends.
Right. That's what it was. Like, you know, like I will say our department was super close. So we were all friends, but like Shanae became my friend. Like my mama will call Shanae. You know, she would call Shanae, like got her phone number. Like Shanae's mama will call me, like, I got her mama's pillow right here. Make sure you know she sees this, that it's in the background. Okay, please let her know. Like that type of, like how the friendship has evolved. Like Shanae is family. Shanae is family.
Right. Oh, well, thanks for sharing that. I was curious. I'm like, well, how did you know? Well, thanks for sharing that. Can I can answer the question as far as like mixing circles?
Yeah.
So, my wedding, I had
good time. Had a good time.
Good. I had five different five bridesmaids, and one was my cousin, but then one was my like best friend since I was 6. We're going on like 30 years of friendship. And one from college, and one from and then one from high school / middle school, and then 2 from high school / middle school. And I'm a person that I realized I don't do well in big groups. Like I don't. So I'm like the friend. Like I have like one close friend. Like we do our thing, So each one of those girls I just listed, we do our own thing. It's never like, oh, girl trip. I'm not gonna do well. I'm gonna be the one that's like, oh, why is she not with the group? It's too much energy for me. Like I can't take it. So I'm like one of the ones like, everyone's like, let's go to the bathroom. I'm like, I'm gonna be right here. I'll be right here. So it worked out so good. Like everybody, they're like even friends now. They had like a group text during the wedding, and everybody still like keeps in contact. And so it worked out well. But yeah, as far as like big groups of people, I don't thrive. That's the truth.
I'm definitely guilty of trying to bring folks together. I don't have a lot of friends. I have a very small circle, but I actually like group settings. I love, the mix of personalities and humor. And then I get so much joy, like when my friends start connecting with each other. But like not too much, because then I get jealous. Like, wait a minute, like I'm the priority. Don't forget it. But yeah, and fortunately for the most part, it's been successful. And I think that is a testament to the fact that, like I said earlier, like there's a common thread among all my friends, and that we kind of share a similar sense of humor. And I think that's why, like, when I bring them together, it works. Now, I've never had a situation where like they're going off and like, contacting each other without me. I haven't, like, my friends haven't become like close friends with each other, but I really enjoy the fact that I can bring them together and, have a good time once in a while.
I think for me, I try to do things like my husband and I, we have a Christmas party every year. And so in that space, like a lot of my friends, they're circles. So it's groups of people. So that kind of works. But if I meet someone and we just kind of are friends alone, they're very uncomfortable there. So it's kind of like having to, help them along or just be with them all the time because they feel shelter. And it's not that my friends aren't acknowledging who they are, they just have their own sets and people are just kind of comfortable in that. So for my birthday this year, of course, because of coronavirus, we couldn't do anything. So I'm like, how am I going to celebrate my birthday with all these friends? And someone's going to be upset if they're not the one that's chosen to hang out with me for my birthday. So what my husband did is he surprised me and set up dates for me like all throughout the day so that I could spend at least like an hour with each friend. So the blessing with coronavirus is that I've been able to keep that going, just to set that special time so no one feels like I chose someone else over them. So it's really hard to do it in a group setting because I've noticed that my friends just kind of lump off into their own sets. So
I've never tried like a huge group setting per se. I think it only happens like around special times, so a holiday or your birthday. And I think for me, all of my friends, since we're friends, they kind of know each other because, oh, a picture you posted or of this. So it's kind of like, okay, well, I know of that person, and we just make it work for Tiandra for the day, and everyone goes about their business. I don't try to put pressure on it. I'm not forcing nothing.
Yeah, I'm the same way. I just invite people, and however it turns out, that's how it turns out. And thankfully, everything's been great. All the turnups have been really good. Everyone has meshed, and yeah, I was thinking, like Sasha said, some of her friends have not became their own friends together, like outside of the group. I don't think none of my friends have either. I don't know. Have they, Shanae? I don't think so. I don't think so. I think we're just only friends when we're together, and then that's it. Okay. So let's talk about significant others. I mean, how did you introduce your significant other to your friends? Was it a type of event that you invited them to? And who gets to meet the boo first? How did that work? How did introducing your friends come in?
Shanae.
Oh. Uh-oh. There we go. I thought we lost you for a second.
Oh no, she wanted to be lost.
I think this is a married person question.
I believe she said significant other, but
right.
Okay.
How do I introduce? I don't actually. I hide them for many, many months until people start asking questions. Usually it's the form of a DM, a text message, or sometimes Dr. Tiandra Cole just, FaceTimes and it's like, who's in your house?
Pull up. Too funny. Essence, I'm trying to think, how did I meet Ansel? I want to say, was it at the wedding?
My father knew him very well. Like, they were like besties. And I'm like, hi, nice to meet you.
Yeah. Well, you know what? Church, right? So I had to bring him to church. So, and that's like hey everybody, this is somebody I've been serious with. So, Deacon Owens, that's my boy. That's my man. So I had to introduce it to my deacon. So and you know what? As far as like meeting people, and so my husband and I are from neighboring towns, and we had so many mutual friends. So he went to school with Brian and Bruce and all those guys, and so it was really easy to get to know. Oh, wait a minute, Leah. It was really easy to get to know him, and because it's almost like a reintroduction. For a lot of people, they had known him previously, and he has older brothers that they may have known, and they're like, oh, that's the little one, he's older now. So that's how it kind of came around. He and I just never knew each other, but we knew a lot of each other's friends. So I would say reintroduction maybe, but it had to take him to see the deacon.
I think my husband is a very interesting person. You have to know him is to love him. And if you don't know him, you won't love him. My husband is very, he's very honest. So I probably have maybe, if I can name my top two friends who are probably the greatest friends with my husband, it would be Shanae and my best friend. Everyone else is kind of scared of him because they just don't know what's going to come out of his mouth. So he's a great person. They just assume that he presents, like he's not the nicest person, but he's really a very nice person.
He also likes who he likes too, though. So.
He does.
So him and I are good.
They're the same person, pretty much. Yeah, and you have to help him with his face sometimes too. So yeah, but my husband, he knows that I'm a friend whore, so he says it, all the time. But he's one of those people where he'll just kind of mesh, and he knows that he feels like some of my friends are my friends only, and if we weren't together, they wouldn't be his friends. You get what I'm saying? So he's like, and we've had those discussions like, I know your friends who would still be my friends if we weren't, together and vice versa. But he doesn't, because he knows that I have those different circles. He understands like what each person brings, and he knows how to mesh in those environments, if that makes sense.
So when you all first started dating your now husband or significant other, who was the first person that you introduced him to outside of family? And not only who did you introduce him to, but how did you handle the feedback that they gave you? I mean, all of y'all been with y'all man for like 1,000 years. So can you think back that far?
Okay, let's go back to Adam and Eve in this bush. So Tiandra, you think back that far, okay?
Sasha, you got one too?
I was trying to stretch my memory. I'm like, I don't really, because I was so young, right? Like I met my husband at a college party. So I kind of just like gossiping with friends was like, oh, I met this guy and blah, 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 blah. And it wasn't like I wasn't selective about who I shared the news with. You know how it is in college. You assume most relationships that you have are flings. You're not like going into it thinking about marriage. So I wasn't like, oh, I think he's the one. I'm just like, oh, I met this cutie. And I was just like, sharing. But in terms of as an adult, I'm thinking about like hypothetically how I would go about it right now. I definitely know I would go to like my best friend, and I would want her to do a bit of vetting, and I think it's always hard. You go into most relationships with rose-colored glasses, right? So I imagine like the feedback, if you're really, into the person, is probably hard to take, right? But yeah, I think I would still want it, right? Because my friend is going to look at it from a lens that I simply can't see through because I'm, infatuated with a person more than likely.
I mean, kind of similar. I've been with my husband for several years. We've been together since high school and then college and now real life, post-college, real life, whatever that may be. So the whole introducing, we grew up in the same town, go to the same high school. Our friends are the same, However, just thinking about what you were talking about, Sasha, like now being an adult, I will say there are friendships I have or certain people that I'm friendly with that I necessarily wouldn't introduce him to. They don't get to meet him. Like he doesn't get to meet everybody. And I know, knowing his personality and those friends of mine, they don't need to meet. You can just know of one another and that is fine. And because I'm not gonna put him in a situation where he's uncomfortable because then it makes the whole situation awkward. And vice versa. So my husband, that's mine. And I'm very protective of that. So I am going to protect that space and what we have. And so, no, he doesn't need to meet everybody. I'm not introducing him to everybody and vice versa.
I'm not sure when I introduced my husband. My husband and I went to elementary school together. And then we didn't see each other again until I graduated from grad school. Like the night of my graduation, my cousin threw me a party and he was there. And I'm like, I don't know you. Why are you here? And then he was like, you do know me. So that's the whole situation. But I think that was family though. So like to actually introduce him to someone outside of that, it was probably a year. Because I am the same way. I'm very private and I've always been taught, like, your opinion of my husband doesn't matter, or my boyfriend as a friend doesn't matter. When I'm in a relationship, I'm in a relationship with you. And I've been taught that, like, my parents no one else is in that relationship. It's you, that person, and God. So I don't really care what anyone else says or thinks, I know who he is, you know? So for me, I think probably my maid of honor met him, but I didn't care to ask what she thought. I was just letting you know who this guy is that's permanent in my life now. So I guess I'm very territorial, and that's, you don't, nope, not my husband. That's not even a conversation we're gonna have.
I would agree with both UL and Tiandra. As far as I will say, as far as like vetting him though, because we did have some mutual friends that knew him at a time that I didn't, like from middle school, elementary, high school. They were able to give me some, I guess, like a character reference, and I was like, oh, well, good. I trust them. So then I guess if they trust him, I could, then trust him too. But as far as like having an opinion, if it's come from like one of my close friends, I would take into consideration. But it's as far as how they think, maybe if they're observing certain things, like I don't really like the way he talked to you, like if it's something like that. But if they're just like, I don't know, he don't look like your type, I'm like, see, no, yeah, exactly. I don't. We could stop it right there. But as far as like having a friends together, I realized that first of all, I really like entertaining, having game nights with my little 2, 3, 5 little friends, so we have I think they would be friends with him, and I would be friends with my friends if we weren't with his friends if we weren't together. That was a good thought you brought up. I never considered that. But yeah, so I'm always trying to bring things together, bring people together that are close to us. So yeah, I think we'd be friends with one another regardless.
I'm trying to think back to who did I introduce my husband to first, and I honestly don't remember. I don't know. It's been a while, but I do recall. So social media, again, you can always go on there. So I met my husband when I was 25. So I didn't have the childhood growing up and everything like that. And through social media, I realized we had 0 mutual friends. So I was like, wow, I'm really talking to a stranger. Like, this is a stranger that I have to like get to know. I have no point of reference. Like, so yeah, when we met, it was probably just to have just events like, okay, we're hanging out in New York this weekend, come and meet this guy that I'm interested in, and we'll see what happens. But yeah, I would say he was the first stranger. I was like, this is a real stranger. Like, no one knows this guy. But it worked out. 10 years later, we're here.
I really like seeing how your partner interacts with your friends. Going back to that hypothetical situation, I think it's very telling about the person's character. And I think you can learn a lot from them because now you're looking at them from a different point of view. And if I met my husband and saw that like he just was not just getting along well with any of my friends, that would have probably negatively shaped the way I looked at him.
Okay, I want to shift gears a little bit. This is kind of our last segment in terms of, do your friends deserve to know everything? The answer is automatically no, but what do you keep to yourself, and how do you determine what friend gets what and what you tell your friends?
That's deep. I want to start. I want to throw myself out there. So who gets to know what? That's hard because, so my very best friend, my husband introduced me to her. So with her, I know that if I killed somebody, she wouldn't tell anyone. Like, she's gonna help me cover it up. So off top, she knows everything except for relationship things. I don't talk about my relationship with anyone unless it's like one of those, when you're talking to a friend and they may be going through something, and so you like, all right, I got to share something with you so we can relate, because I need you to understand that I have your back on this, or I've been there. But as far as like, I am at my wit's end, I'm depressed, I'm in this corner balled up, I'm gonna call my best friend. If I am getting ready to, I've just gotten better with sharing bad things that have happened. So like at the middle of last year, I had a real bad fall, got a concussion, like should not be alive. And so I remember in our group chat that Shanae and I are in, and I was just like, I guess I should tell people. So let me try to be better, you know, because I don't want people to find out from someone else and they didn't hear it from me. So I am one of those people who I don't like to dump on people. So if you're already not, if it's the pandemic, we already got a lot going on, I don't want to dump on you. And I also feel like I'm trying to be better with being more vulnerable with my friends. But I also want to be careful in that, because when you have, like, we talked about the different circles, like I have friends who are business friends, I have friends who are, we laugh, we kiki, I have friends that we were in school together, you know, so I have different levels. So if I have a group that's called the Safe Place, and I know theirs where I'm going to go and pray, and we're going to talk about whatever's going on in life. So each person, I'm going to tell something different. So your business, we're going to talk about work and how these clients are crazy. If we are, you know, talking about God, I'm going to go to the Safe Place. Or if it's something I'm struggling, I'm gonna go there. If it's a new outfit that I want to get, I'm going to talk to my friends who I laugh and kiki with. So what I've learned to do is compartmentalize and make sure that everyone can handle what I say, because everyone can't handle every facet of you. So that's kind of how I play my roles with my friends.
I just want to add to that, Elle. You're right, as far as there are different levels of friendship in different circles. And so certain things, I have a wonderful friend, but I know that friend can't hold water. And she knows she can't hold water. So, Shanae, don't laugh. I can't tell her something. Like, if I want it to be confidential, not right now, maybe later on, but I know, okay, that's not the person that I can go to hold something in for me, okay? So I think it's different levels of friendships, and you know your friends, and understanding your friends and knowing what you can tell one or share with one and what you can't share with another. And it doesn't make the friendship or anything less valuable, but you just have to know your friends.
I agree with both you ladies. You know, we all sound like, you know, we belong to different friendship groups. And if I have, you know, I have really close friends, but if they belong to other friendship groups that I'm like, I don't know, I feel like this might get, you know, so there's the line is drawn with what is shared. Yeah, because no, they, of course, like you said, Shanae, they don't need to know everything, but there's certain things like where you need to just kind of share your heart a little bit, and it can definitely deepen the friendship, you know, when you share certain things, but with caution, you know, who would be able to handle certain things and it'd be confidential or not.
Yeah, I want to echo what all of you are saying, which is, you know your friends, you know their personalities, you know what they can hold space for and what they can't, and what they can keep confidential or what they can't. I think that in every relationship, particularly romantic relationships, whether it's your boyfriend or your husband, there are certain things you have to hold sacred. A lot of times we want to confide in someone else and get their feedback and kind of almost like put the thinking work on them, especially when it comes to conflict. Like, help me sort through this in my mind, right? Because this is a really difficult situation. So you want that sounding board. But what I've found, especially as I'm getting older, is sometimes like I just have to sit with it and lean into the discomfort of that conflict and figure it out for myself. Because I think a lot of us intuitively, we know what the answer is. You know what you just kind of want to hear it from someone else. You know what I'm saying? So I am learning more how to kind of trust my gut. And then also, you know, there are times where you want to share that moment of vulnerability with a friend so that you feel that connection, especially if they're going through that hard time. But I think more and more what I'm learning is that there are certainly some things that I have to hold sacred and sit with, even if there's a part of me that's like, oh, I need to talk to somebody about this. Like, I have to trust me.
Can I respond to what Sasha said? Because I feel like even an extension of that is knowing when you're talking to certain friends, you can't necessarily talk to them about other friends. And then, because here's the thing, you have some friends who are like, so the next time I see this person, it's going to be a problem because you've forgiven them. But I remember what they did to you. So when I see them, it's a whole nother situation. So you have to be careful what you're saying about your boyfriend, your husband that you forgave and it's over, and your friend who did you wrong a couple of weeks ago who owe you $30. So like, you have to be careful because everybody doesn't forgive. So for me, and I'm petty, so I tell my friends, like, there are things you can't tell me. I don't want to hear about your husband. And if you are gonna tell me something, don't tell me something that's crazy. Like if he puts your hands, because then we gonna have to roll up. So like, you have to be careful what you say because some people will forgive and move on. So you got to tell me in the beginning, I need you to forgive after this conversation. Because if we don't have that precursor, I may not, I'm working on my Jesus level. I'm just not all forgiving yet. So you have to be careful when you say certain things to certain people because everybody doesn't forgive.
You are absolutely right. I am not. Don't tell me. I think with a friendship too, understanding the levels and understanding yourself. I remember being in a position, I'm hearing all the stuff and, so we hate him, okay? We don't like him no more. But then you tell me all this stuff and I'm harboring it. And now y'all lovey-dovey again. And I'm just like, wait a minute, no, we don't like him. We are angry at him. He did this. And it really took a toll on me because I was upset and I was holding and harboring all these feelings. And I'm not even in that relationship. So I had to learn as a friend when to speak up and say, hey, I can't handle this right now, or I can't handle this at all. And I think that's important too, to be able to speak up because I don't mind being a sounding board or a listening ear. However, there are levels of what I can and cannot take. And it took me some time to be able to really state that to my friends. So, but I'm with you, Elle. I'm ready to roll up.
She's not talking about me, but homecoming is a little different with Tiandra. Homecoming is a little different. Ready? Because he's standing right there. I'm good. I'm over it. I'm good.
I'm not.
Okay, so I don't want to just like end the call. Let's end with some final thoughts because we just revealed a lot about ourselves. I'll start us off to give you some time to think about what your final thoughts will be. I just want to share just thinking about what some friends have said to me, that I am a friend in terms of like giving and listening, but I don't necessarily share in terms of things that are happening with me and not necessarily sharing when things are going wrong. And like, you would never know, like, I'm really good with being okay. Certain people can tell, like, they could just get that feeling. And I have that with certain friends, like Elle said, I will slide in her DM in a heartbeat. Tiandra will like, hey, some just don't feel right. And will send a text, but I don't show that. And they had to like really sit me down and say like, over the years, I've been able to open up more and they can tell the difference but that's something that I'm being more intentional about in terms of giving more of myself to my friends and sending those thinking of you texts, or you were on my mind. And even those texts have come through loss of friends and people close to me. So instead of just like letting that thought pass, like telling someone like, you are on my mind, just want you to know. So when I think of friendship, just being intentional about those things. So that would be my thought as we talk through this conversation of friendship. Any final thoughts from anyone else?
I think that I am my friend whorish ways. I joke about it, y'all, but it's so real. But it is good for me. It's good for me because, as I stated earlier, I know what it's like losing friends that, you know, that I've loved, and I've, you know, and I didn't understand why. And of course, with time and with my own personal healing, I understood where my responsibility lies in a situation. And sometimes people just grow apart and you evolve and you can't take things personally. So also because I'm a servant leader naturally, right? So I give more than what others will give. And so I just learned to be present in the moment with a friend. And then I don't take it personal. Like, it may hurt when someone leaves or walks out of my life, but I've learned to not make it about, if I know that I did not hurt them or harm them, I know that, thank you, you were here this moment. Our time has passed. Thank you for this season. I've even said that to a friend. Thank you for this season of life, but we can't go forward anymore. And I love you no less. It's just, it doesn't work for us as friends. So I think that with friendship, I understand the people who say, you know, no new friends and your day ones, but sometimes you're going to need a day 25 to come through and help you with that next journey of life. So I think it's important for us to be open, be transparent, but also tune into your intuition and discernment, because you know that everybody isn't necessarily for you. So that's my thoughts.
What you said, Elle, kind of sparked something in me and reminded me of something my mom would always say, is that friends and people in general in your life, there's a reason, a season, or even a lifetime. And I am grateful so far for my lifetimers. But you know, when I look back at friendships and some of those friendships that are no longer, I am now in a place where I am thankful for the season that was, the reason that was, and I appreciate what I learned and gained from that. And I'm in a place where I can be okay with that and understanding that sometimes friendship isn't forever, and that's okay. And it's very hard to get to that understanding, because as you said earlier, Essence, it's like a death sometimes, like you're mourning someone when some of those friendships do end. But I think it's important to take certain aspects of those friendships and apply not only to yourself and to your life, but moving forward.
One final thought is being okay with knowing that sometimes your friends may not always have the emotional and mental capacity to show up for you in the way that you need them to. You know, I'm going to give a, for instance, you know, becoming, as I mentioned, a new mom. You know, you may have a friend who, you know, this has been something they've been wanting for a long time, and because of their life circumstance, it's not happening. So they may not be able to be that plan the baby shower for you, or they may not be able to talk through every mommy worry that you have, and that's okay. And you can accept them and love them and know that it's not coming from a place of malice.
I agree with all of you ladies. I recently started being more open myself with my friends in a way that that's been really helpful, because I feel like a lot of times, I'm sure some of you ladies in certain groups, you're the strong friend. So people, come to you and you don't even mind it. Many times it doesn't feel like a burden to you, so it's like I had to think, like, why would I feel like a burden to them? So being able to, open that communication in that way has been it's been phenomenal. And so I've just been, leaning into that, into that, I guess, like that new level of friendship where it's like, I'm showing up in ways that allows them to see, more of me. And so I just wanted to just add on to that, but I agree with everything you said, each of you.
This was really good. Thank you, ladies. My final thought would just be, being intentional about our friendships and just being committed and, try to work on where we can. We can't be, the be all to everyone, and just, don't be too hard on yourself. We're all trying, we're all going through our own things, and just, grant all our friendship circles some grace, if some time goes by. And, just get on social media and put a post and hit a like or a comment. There you go.
So I was listening to a podcast this weekend, so I just wanted to leave us with like a little quote, because I love a good quote. But a podcast I was listening to this weekend, it was a quote by Unique Joan Gibson, and she said, "You can't be a shitty person and expect genuine friendships." So I was like, I agree with that. So just continue to be amazing. Don't compare yourself or how other people are friends to another person. Just be you. Like, you can't look at other people and how they are operating in friendship to determine, like, I should do that. No, operate what works for you. If your friendships are thriving and working, do it. But thank you for joining us. Sisters Talk No Filter, and we definitely left the filter at home.
We sure did. Thank you, ladies.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us.